Chris, I'm going to try to say this because I'm assuming that well, it's Chris Albright. Does that work?
I've already fed you. You're okay.
Chris, if you're out there, can you unmute? I think that might be, let's see.
Okay.
There you are. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Sean.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing it. What did you think of so far, these guys?
I think they're amazing. Tough acts to follow.
Tough acts to follow, I know. So, Chris, where do you live?
Florida.
Florida. And who shared ER Shred with you?
No one. I found it myself.
Good for you.
I was on Isagenix since 2017, and I had lost 45 pounds. I kept it off, and then about 4 years later, I gained about 9 pounds, and I thought, oh, hell no, I got to do something. And I just was looking on Facebook through the Isagenix pages, and I found ER Shred. I just found it, and I thought, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see if this works.
Yeah, that's so cool. Stroke of fate. Hey, what are you passionate about? Just so we can get to know you better.
Well, you know, right now, I'm passionate about me. I was hesitant to say that because it sounds so selfish, but I was listening to Grandpa Rob, which I probably shouldn't call him Grandpa because I could be his. Anyways, you really have to be passionate about yourself, or you can't give like you're doing, like Jesse's doing, like he's doing. So I thought, I've always thought to myself, when I retire, my focus is going to be me. And that way I can, it sounds selfish, but it's probably the most unselfish thing you can do, is to take care of yourself so you can take care of your family and be there and be healthy. So basically, yeah, that's my passion. And that's why I thought I have to do something. I'm not gaining this weight back. And I want to keep myself healthy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That was beautiful. That's all I'm going to say is that was very beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. And no, there's nothing wrong with you saying that your passion is you right now. Good for you. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so what unfolds when you hear about this ER Shred? When did you first do it? What was that result like? All of that.
Well, I started in March, and my story is a little different. First of all, I think we kind of found each other because I have toxic scale syndrome. And one of my friends I met on ER Shred, because I asked so many questions, she recommended that I read this file.
The file, and that's
read it so many times.
A file that's Chris, that's a file that's in the group called Women Trust the Process, and it talks about toxic scale syndrome, which, you know, it's not a literal syndrome. However, yeah, I mean, I haven't weighed since January. I haven't weighed in almost a full year, and I as a man, it's been a gift I've given myself. But please continue.
Well, mine's horrible. I weigh myself. Now I am down to, like, I weigh every morning with my clothes off after I go to the bathroom and everything else. But I weigh every morning. But I
got a guest here, Chris. This is Crystal, my wife.
Hi, Chris.
Hi,
Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay.
Don't skip a beat. You're talking about, you know, now you weigh every morning, right?
Yeah, now I weigh every morning. But before I read this and started ER Shred, I was weighing 2 and 3 times a day, sometimes on 2 different scales. And not just that, I mean, the worst part is I have this little chart, it's not so little, that the last Monday of every single month, I weigh myself since 1980.
It's become part of you. It's become habitual.
Yeah. And it's like when I see a friend or someone comes to visit me, I can look at my little chart and say, oh, this is the last time I saw them and this is what I weighed. So I know exactly what I weighed then. But it has gotten better because I have read this file many, many times. And I have to tell you, the first time I read it, when I came to this part, I keep it with me and I have all kinds of notes on it. But when I came to this part, Sean, it says, first of all, we need to address the relation between pounds and inches. Women usually lose way more inches than pounds. And I made this little note. This was the first note I made. I said, how do you know you're a man and your wife is thin?
I like you. Yeah. I like you.
And you know what? Before I started our shred.
You know what? You're right. You know what though? The career path that chose me, if you will, was just that. I've coached thousands of women around weight loss. And that scale plays a number on women. And of course, I saw it in my own house with my mom. Mm-hmm. But you know, what's unfolded since? Do you recognize that the relationship with the scale? How do you view that now?
Well, I honestly have only started viewing it since I started feeling the difference in my body. When I started Shred, I was so pissed at everyone because I wanted you guys to tell me what I was going to feel. Tell me. I didn't realize that until I experienced it myself, that this is intangible. Yeah. You can't, nobody can tell you. Yeah. You have to experience, you have to feel it. Everyone kept saying, trust the process, trust the process, and once you experience it, the difference that you'll discover the experience in the process.
Yes.
I guess that's all I can say. Yes. It's difficult to explain. It's difficult to understand because it's intangible. And I had to learn that. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I had to learn was I have TSS, and my body for 64 years and that's another part of this article, has been abused. And so this is going to take me a long time. I started in March, and my first shred, I lost 10 pounds and 8 inches. And that was, I had gained that 9 pounds. I was 15 pounds away from my goal. I gained the 9 pounds. Then I started shred, lost the 10 pounds, started in March. I pretty much, I stick to it most of the time. Like if I overeat, it's overeating something on the shred. I'll eat.
And you know what? That's not such a bad thing, is it?
No. Like I'll eat more pork rinds or dipped in butter, or I'll eat more meat, or I'll eat. And I have to tell you, part of the process, Thanksgiving for me this year was, I posted it. It was one day. It wasn't 4 days like it had been in the past.
Yeah.
And I, in one day, I gained 2 pounds, and I started to shred the day after Thanksgiving, and I measured myself, and I lost over 3 inches.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I don't get it. I don't. Now, since my initial shred, I haven't lost a pound.
Yeah.
But I have lost 14 inches.
Okay,
having toxic scale syndrome, I was getting really pissed at myself. reading, oh, I lost 70 pounds. I lost this, I lost that. But like you said, I have a lot of damage on the inside going on, but I've lost these inches and I feel different. And that's just so hard to explain. I was getting real frustrated for a while until I started feeling it.
How long did it take you to feel what you're talking about?
It didn't happen right away. I felt it on and off. I'll tell you, honestly, I felt it during an 11-day shred, but the minute I got off the shred, and if I reintroduced, and I would reintroduce healthy, avocado, things like that.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got off the 11-day, I felt it.
That's exciting.
I didn't feel like I did when I was shredding.
Yeah.
So I'll do like 10 days in between, and then I'll do 11 days, but I'm not losing a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I have lost the inches. And the other big thing was my cholesterol. My cholesterol's always been a little bit high, like 211, 207, 209. Well, this last time I just got my blood work done, and my cholesterol came back. It was 264. I almost crapped my pants. I was scared to death to go to the doctor. I'll tell you, I was scared to death. I thought, oh yeah, he's going to have a fit. I don't know what it is. Well, when I walked in, he said, well, everything looks okay. And I looked at him and I thought, he's looking at someone else's chart. So I didn't say anything. I thought, okay, I'm not going to say anything because I'll just let him look at someone's chart. I don't care. Someone else's chart. And then he said, your total cholesterol is up a little bit. He said, but the rest of your blood work, he said, people would pay to have this blood work. Your HDL, your HDL and your LDL ratio is amazing. And your ASCVD, it's the risk of, there was someone else on there, Brad, I think. Brad C. It's your risk score for cardiovascular disease. Well, normal, when I was reading his, normal, just so you guys know, is 10 to 15%. That means your risk is moderate. You're moderate risk. His was 3.8 or something like that. Mine is 3.1. So I said to my doctor, how can my total cholesterol be 264?
Yeah.
But my risk is 3.1. And he said to me, I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah.
My cholesterol being 264. It just, so
I have,
to me,
I have heard professionals, latest research say there's far better indicators of cardiovascular health, risk, so forth, far better indicators than just looking at cholesterol. And as we know, the latest research in science is saying that, your body makes cholesterol. Food-borne cholesterol is not actually what makes your cholesterol elevate in the body. And there a lot of research is starting to state that is actually born as a result of inflammation from culprit foods. So fascinating stuff. And, I hope everybody that finds interest in that will go research it, because there's a lot of new material around this stuff.
Yeah, it'll help debunk the whole thing that the fears that people have around meat and cholesterol.
I wanted to ask, what I love about you tonight is that you came on here and you're like, Sean, do you want me to share? Because, my story is very unique. I just really want to tell you how much I appreciate your vulnerability around the scale and around your result and around how you think and how you process and what your hopes are. To me, how many of you are there out there? And this is what I'm starting to learn is the human experience. The reason people value vulnerability so much is because you're saying things people don't dare to say.
Yeah.
And we're all experiencing the same thing, right? So yours is the scale, mine is something else, right? But my God, you're here and you're basically telling people it's not about the weight loss. That's the message that we've been trying to preach. That's the message that Jesse's been trying to preach, and Susan and everybody. And you're here, you're showing up, and you're basically saying to people, yes, there really is more to this than just what the scale says. So for that, I want to thank you so much. It means a lot. Any other result around the non-scale victories? Anything else you wanted to point out?
No, I just I also have learned that it's okay to feel uncomfortable. You know, Jesse last week was talking about facing your fears, and I'm okay with it. I keep telling myself I have just that 15 pounds to lose, but I've had so many other victories, and so and through this feeling uncomfortable, it's okay because I feel uncomfortable, I'll continue to listen to my body and learn and challenge myself. So I don't get in that rut that I was in before. So I feel like when I'm not uncomfortable, you tend to get into more of a rut. So when you are uncomfortable, you will challenge yourself to move on. At least I do.
And might I say that there's a difference between comfort, what we perceive as comfort, and perceived comfort. There's a difference between comfort and perceived comfort. What we think will bring us comfort, oftentimes it doesn't. That's been my experience, is that people, they do things that aren't good for them, or they know they shouldn't, because it's like, that's going to give me comfort. It's not. It doesn't. Ultimately, it brings you pain. It's perceived comfort. You're totally misinterpreting.
It's
right.
Like 15, lasts like 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We love you. We appreciate you. Please, you've shown up in the group so much. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.